Welcome to the Claws Out podcast, live back at the Mic'd Up studio here in Parramatta. I've got Steve and Rob in studio to preview the West Tigers clash against the Warriors this Friday at Campbelltown. But Rob, it was a fiery episode on Sunday night. Let's just get straight into one of the YouTube comments from, I think it's Nate2582. What's with the beef between Eddie and Rob? We hate each other, apparently.
Do I have to declare my love for you publicly? Everyone knows, I love all the boys on the show, but what you guys don't know at home is that before full-time and just after full-time, at your lowest ebb, when you know your season has been crushed, Eddie Otto twists the knife. He twists it and goes, I told you so. I told you we weren't going to play finals. I told you this wasn't going to happen. And there is a time and a place, Eddie, where you can stir and where you don't. And when you know how passionate we all are, and we all love you, but we know how passionate you are, that's just the last thing I want to hear, mate.
Yeah, but you've said all along this year you want Jerome to be his personality. My personality is to be a troll sometimes. I'm going to be consistent.
I understand that, and I'm going to fire back at you if you're going to be an arsehole towards me.
Do you guys want me to leave?
No, we're going to have dinner afterwards.
Exactly. It could be throwing Chinese food at each other, but we'll see. Steve, 48 hours on from the podcast we did Sunday night. Have you got a different perspective, or are you still angry?
Well, if you're going to have a chat to my 27-year-old son, who I ripped apart this morning verbally, and I walked away from that little altercation thinking, I wonder if that's got anything to do with West Tigers. And I'd say it does. So I'm still pretty down, mate. I cannot believe we lost. I can't believe we lost the last 2 weeks. I really can't.
Rob, still strong numbers. That's something about West Tigers TV fans and West Tigers fans in general. They're a loyal bunch.
Yeah, you called it, mate. They want to watch a car crash and they want to see us upset and pissed off. I mean, honestly, I know it might not have come across this way Sunday night. I wasn't angry. I was definitely deflated. But, yeah, just knowing that the realisation that your season is officially over, I'm bitter. I'm actually bitter. I'm bitter that we gave away 4 competition points in the last 2 weeks. And it's not at the team, it's not at the coaches, it's not at the club. I just feel bitter that a season that started so promisingly is over, and I think that's what hurts the most. So it's nothing personal to anyone, but if you're not angry or if you're not upset or if you're not feeling hurt, you're not a true supporter. It means you don't give a shit. You're going to feel the same way whether you win or lose, then it doesn't mean anything to you. We're given a heart for a reason. That's why we have emotions, and I'm an emotional guy, but I still think I can be logical and balanced through that emotion.
Well, over 40 YouTube comments to Claws Out on Sunday. And again, at the back end of the show, I'm going to read out 5 or 6 of them because some of them were constructive, some of them were a little bit negative, but we're going to react to them. Steve, Friday night game against the Warriors at Campbelltown, our last game at Campbelltown for the year. I'd expect a fairly big crowd because the Warriors are a big draw out there.
Yeah, they are. And it's also the club are putting on like a Pacifica celebration or festival of some description, so that will draw them out to the game even more so. But yeah, that they have on more than one occasion had the larger percentage of the crowd, and I think it'll be the same. I reckon it'll be 70-30, to be honest.
Really?
I was out there, Rob, in a game, it might have been 2007 or 8, where the Warriors were flying high. It was early in the year, and it was probably 50-50, I reckon, which really shocked me. But they have a huge following. You've seen them at Magic Round take over and grounds like that, so...
Look, they've got a huge following. I'm not going to say it's 50-50 or 70-30 their way. What I will say, if they've got 25% of the crowd, they'll be as noisy, if not noisier than our crowd. That might be why it feels like it's a 50-50 crowd to them, but I don't think they'll have... Surely they can't.
Is that a shot at our crowd or just the way the Warriors fans are
really
vocal always?
They're passionate. You go play a team in Queensland and you hear the New Zealand supporters at Queensland games. So I just think they travel everywhere and they're very passionate. But, yeah, I'd be surprised if they outnumber us. But certainly if they're winning, you're going to hear their voice and their sound a lot more than you're going to hear the West Tigers fans.
I don't want to go down the path of good and bad time slots, but Friday, 8 o'clock, Rob, that's not a terrible time slot.
In winter it is. Yeah, I think in winter it is. I think like...
Friday night traffic.
Can't win. I mean, if it was 6 o'clock, you can't get there in time. And if it's 8 o'clock, it's bloody cold. Like the game will be finished at 9:45.
Can I say something about that and getting the crowd out there? And, like last week the club put on, and albeit that they sort of organised a little bit late, but they put on that. They put on a bit of a free feed and they got players down, and Sean spoke at Beverly Beverly Golf Club, whatever it is, Beverly Hills Golf Club.
Yeah, Beverly Park.
Beverly Park, that's it.
Yep.
And then they got a section in the ground, and they made it a Tigers. They organised all that fairly late, but the reason they did it is because they really want to turn the crowd into a weapon for the West Tigers. It really is a priority for them, especially at away games, but home games too. Really,
I was going to say, Steve, that on that, I feel like Leichhardt, even though they haven't done anything specific, the Hills almost got that nightclub feel. You can't replicate that at Campbelltown, but is that what the club's thinking, to try and do something, considering we host 8 or 9 games there next year?
The club absolutely want bring the crowd into games to influence the result of games, right?
Influence referees.
Yeah, and we do it really well at Leichhardt, and I don't think we do it as well at other grounds. Like at Parramatta, the opposition can out yell us, as you're saying, Rob.
Yeah.
But it is a real strategy the Tigers are trying to develop. So, just to everyone, get out there, even if it's hard. Get out there. We were just talking before, geez, it's going to be hard to get out there on Friday. But, we'll go. We'll get there. And the more we get there, let's get that 70-30 to 60-40 to 50-50.
I'll get out early and go to the Sherwood or West Campbelltown, have a feed, and then go straight to the game. It's a perfect spot.
Let's put the West Tigers team on the screen, because there are a couple of key inclusions. Looking to stab a 3-game losing streak. Jerome Luai, the co-captain, is back in the number 6 jumper. Unfortunately, the other captain, Appy Coruscant, out for a month. So Lanyon takes his place in the 9 jumper. Samuela Fainu is back. Thank God for that in the back row. He'll partner his brother, who's on the other edge. And then you got an interesting bench there with Latu in there, Tony Suka back to the bench, Jared Haywood named in the 22. Rob, your reaction to that team?
How do you know which team's actually going to line up? We look at that back line. It's looked like that last week too, and we moved Taruva to right centre and Toa to the left wing. So will it be like that? Although this week, Bunty Afoa is named in the starting.
I reckon he might just be going 1-17 this week.
Well, I hope he does, but again, whatever he trots out, it's fine. I mean, I think you've got some opinions on the back row, Steve, that you think maybe Sione might change. I really got no thoughts about it. I'm more not concerned. I'm more interested in the bench and see how that plays out. Obviously, Fanua Bole will get a start. Alex Seyfarth will get a run. But again, does Tony Suka start, or does he see how the game's going? Is Latu coverage for the hooker half spot, or does young Jared Haywood come into calculations as well? So it'll be interesting to see who the 3 players are that drop out.
Your reaction to the team?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best team we could put out there. Fantastic having Samuela back. The point that Rob was alluding to, I actually think it will start the way he's named it. I think Sione will start on the edge, and I think Suka will come onto the right edge, and then Sione will go into the prop rotation through the game. I think my thinking, if what Benji is thinking, is he's thinking it's, the Warriors are a big side and they can really throw it at you early. So let's get some big bodies out there early and try to meet them with that aggression. What I really want to see, because if Toa is being moved to the wing because of his shoulder, then he shouldn't be there, and Tavana should be picked in the team, I believe. If that's the way it's going to go, I want to see Toa start at centre, because I don't want to see Taruva in the centres. Like Taruva in the centres, like we haven't been able to score a point for 2 weeks, and put him in the centres negates any chance we've got of having any sort of free flow in the back line.
It's quite ironic, Rob, because the criticism of West Tigers over the years and our recruitment has been we don't add to our squad. We get one and then we lose one. And our injury crisis is it's unbelievable, because you get Samuela and you get Jerome back, and now Appy's out for a month. It could have been worse. I thought it was the season when he came off. So I suppose it's semi-good news, but we just can't seem to get the wheels in motion.
Yeah, and it's always the key players. But, guys, I think we've gone down the excuse path for too long. I don't really want to go down that path. It needs to be a next man up mentality. The other thing too, Samuela was due back next round, not this round. So you'd have to consider also there's a chance he is a late withdrawal, or maybe Sukar does start. I don't know. Has Samuela been named to do any media work this week? Because generally when someone's come back after being so long,
Steve's our spy.
If he's named, I should have messaged Josh before we got to air. But if he's not on the media list to be interviewed, then he's probably not playing. But we'll see how that pans out through the week.
Steve, just last one on Appy. I mean, he probably hasn't been at his best the last couple of weeks, but our record without him is horrendous. Yeah. It's a big challenge for the young fella, Lanyon, who had a good debut, but it's only been used in small spurts since.
Yeah, look, we are a much, much better team with Happy there, obviously. But Lanyon has shown that he can do it. He's only shown it in short periods, so this is an opportunity. He's got cover there. He's got Latu at cover. We've also got Hayward there. That is going to be interesting. I tend to think Hayward's there for the experience more than anything else, just getting up into first grade, hanging around the team sort of thing. I reckon Latu will get used more than Hayward, but if Hayward goes out there, we saw in the trials he can do a job, but it is next man up. The thing about this team is you look at that 1 to 19, and it is first grade capable. You're not looking there saying, "Geez, we got nothing there." That is a first grade side.
There's not much difference between Saturday's team to that, obviously with the exception of Sam Weller and Jerome Luai, but the team named this week that beats St George. Like that's just the difference between having, someone like Luai and Sam
Even
Weller
minus
back.
Happy.
Well, that's actually a good point too. I hadn't considered that, although we didn't have Happy for the last 20 minutes of the game.
Just on Hayward, I tend to agree with Steve. We're guessing a bit, but I think Benji might be getting him around the group. But it would suggest in the next month he's going to debut him, I'd say.
Well, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I don't, people are saying, it could be poor for his development.
Well, Gary and Adel said that earlier this year, I think. I don't know if it was specifically about Hayward, but they talked about managing young players.
Yeah, well, he might not be ready or he might be ready. But the thing is, it's not like we're throwing him in there to start or to play 80 minutes. Surely he gets anything from 10 to 25 minutes if he comes on the field. We saw what he could do in the trial, even though it's only a trial. If the guy's got talent, let's just let him have a go. And it's not a bad thing if he plays and then goes back to Cup or to Flegg, because you're giving him a taste. He gets to learn what he needs to work on for next year. I don't think we can lose anything by it. And as you said, if he's being around the first grade around the first grade squad, that's not a bad thing.
Samuela hasn't played since the Sharks. Now, I don't know if you want a list of order of importance, but you could make an argument he's in our top 3 or 4 most important players, because not only does he add to our attack, but he brings such a presence and energy out there and attitude that, I'm ready to hit someone out here.
Oh, yeah. Like his form before he got injured, like he would have to have been in the conversation for State of Origin. He was playing that well. And you're right, he was playing that well on both sides of the football. And a point Gary likes to make all the time is a good player is a player who makes others look good. It's not just him charging into the defensive line, it's his ball work before the line, at the line, and through the line.
Even his aerial work.
Yeah, that's right as well. Yeah, he's a weapon there. And he just gives us, when we've got, and we've lost him, but when we've got Happy at the ruck, when we've got we've got Luai there on the left edge, when we've got Samuel out a little wider, there's these multiple points of attack that I keep talking about that are so important when defensive teams are trying to read you. So it's great, but as Benji always says in this situation, first game back, we can't expect too much. He's just coming back.
Boy, we've missed him though.
He's our strike weapon. We're missing KPP too, don't forget. So we've got plenty of good players in our team. The problem is the drop-off from the best player to the next player down is so different. As you guys have touched on, ball playing through the line, his aggressive defence, short goal line dropouts, he's great to regather, or an attacking bomb, he can do the same. So it'd be good to have him back. But like Steve said, don't expect too much first game.
That backline, Steve, are you like Rob? Do you want to see it stay as is with Makasini and Toa in the centres and Skelton Taruva on the wings?
Yeah. I said that a few minutes ago. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to see Taruva come into the centres. I want to see if someone says, "Oh yeah, but Toa needs to be protected," then he shouldn't be playing. Like he really should. Like, don't put him out in the wing because his shoulders bung. If his shoulders bung, put him in the grandstand. Yeah.
By the way, Samuel is not named to do any media work this week, so that says to me there's a chance he might not play.
Okay. What about that bench, Rob? You like talking about the bench. So would you have Sione back to the bench?
It's not so much having him back to the bench, it's having him play as a middle. I don't think he's an edge back rower. We've tried him now on both edges, whether it's the left or the right edge. But, Benji doesn't have much choice there either. He's got Tony Suka and Ethan Roberts in Cup. There's really not much there to choose from. So he's just going to put up with it for now.
He's up and down, Suka, isn't he? A few weeks ago, I was really impressed with his form, in so much as, like, he wasn't playing elite level football, but he was holding his own and doing a job. Last week he was poor.
Yeah, I felt like last Saturday night, when we had the ball, we were running with vigour, and defensively, I thought our first contact was poor. But with that running well with the ball. The one player that I didn't think ran the ball strongly was Tony Suka. I don't know if he's carrying an injury, but it certainly wasn't the Tony Suka that played against Newcastle the week before. So, look, it was just maybe a one-off game. But, again, how many games has he played in first grade? Like 10 or so? So it's hard to, don't want to sort of single players out too much. He's not a consistent player yet, but, that's why he's there and he's learning.
High-flying Warriors, let's put their team on the screen. They head out to Campbelltown with 10 wins already under their belt, and they get the luxury of getting their captain back, James Fisher-Harris, as well as Haliasima. Steve, I guess one of the key differences with this club is they can actually have some injuries because their first-choice halves in Metcalf and Boyd are out for the season, but Harris Tavita and Tiamari Martin just keep the ship going steadily there.
Well, what I reckon tells you a lot about how this team is travelling is the fact that sitting on the bench and the extended bench at the moment are Neokora, Metcalf, Barnett and Catewell, all named. And so they could be out or they could be in. Now, I reckon, just by looking at the way he's named that team, Webster, I reckon if Barnett and Catewell get through Origin, and I reckon Neokora and Metcalf have got some fitness testing to do before the end of the week, if they pass, all four of those will go into the starting team, and that is one hell of a side.
Your reaction to their season? Because the criticism of the Warriors in the past has been they're inconsistent, and then one year they might be top 8 and they'll be second last. But Andrew Webster, they look like they're stacking 2 good years together.
In terms of who they are as a team, as a culture, they're undoubtedly a top 4 team. They're probably even a top 2 team. They've had so many injuries, and to think that they've lost Tanner Boyd and Metcalf and like guys that would be starters, and they can still, produce other guys like Tamare Martin. It's just unbelievable the depth they've got there. Interesting whether they back up or not, because again, like we haven't played rugby league at any level, but they say it's easier to back up really close to a game. Like it's easier to back up on the Friday than
mentally easier
than it is a Sunday. But I can't see Mitch Barnett backing up. Like unless he gets 30 minutes or something.
Is he starting? He comes off the bench, doesn't he?
Yeah, leave him at home, Webster.
No, I think he would be starting because normally it's Payne Haas, and I think Adel Fanua-Blake might be on the bench. I'm not sure. It was Adel Fanua was on the Blake last time. I can't remember. Does anyone care about Origin?
Yeah, I watched them. I watched the couple of games today. Their last 2 games, the Warriors. That was the Dolphins and the Cowboys, and I sort of was flicking through it. Holy smokes! Their execution is just—it's so sharp, and it's relentless. It's absolutely like you'd never would you'd say this about a Warriors team in the past, but they will shift left. They'll play the ball. They'll do 2 passes to the middle, and then they'll shift short side again with a long cutout pass to the winger. It is just executed perfectly. We are going to have to be on our toes like we haven't been for a long time.
So is that roster, or is that really good coaching? Because we had a big argument or a big discussion on Sunday night about our shape and the way we run our attack. They've had a lot of injuries, but they seem to maintain the same style of play and still produce points.
I'm definitely going to say both, and it's not sitting on the fence. I defer to Adel, who said if he could, like he loves Benji, and Benji's his guy as our coach, but if he could replace our coach with anyone, it'd be Webster. So he actually has always said that. That's from like late last year.
Pity he wasn't in our system earlier, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we know how to lose a good person within the club, don't we? We're the masters of that. And then the other thing, of course, they are a good roster, but the thing about their roster, they're all athletes. Like you watch them live, like I remember watching them live last year at Campbelltown.
Scary.
They're all scary. Like we have a Samuela and, to a lesser degree, Terrell and Fanua. They're all like that. Yeah. They're just all big, tall animal. They can, offload at will and play.
It's like turning up to play the West Indies in the 1980s and you see those 5'6'8" quicks.
Pretty much. It's like, we've got Samuela back and we're feeling strong. You look at their pack, they're just all monsters. And having Fisher-Harris back, you can't deny how important that is to them. He's done so well at Penrith. You've seen what New Zealand have done since he's arrived there. So that's a massive in for them.
We did roll them earlier this year, probably our best win of the year, and rolled them convincingly over the ditch. Can we take confidence from that, or what can we learn from that, how we broke them down?
Well, I think we can take confidence in the fact that we know we've done it before. If we use that as our motivation to get up, then there's a chance that belief will grow. If we use what we've shown the last few weeks, then we'll get done by 60. Like this mob will put 60 points on us for sure. But we have done it, And the word you use, rolling through them, is exactly what it was. We rolled through the middle. Now, the concern for that this week is we don't have Appy, because Appy's the one who gets us rolling through the middle. But that forward pack is not all that different to the forward pack that did beat the Warriors earlier in the season. So we can do it. And, mate, if they weren't desperate last week, they've got to be desperate this week. Like, this is it. Like, would they be thinking this? If they win this game, like no one's expecting us to win this game. So if we win this game, is that the one we got that we should have got last week, and then we're still in the hunt? You know what I mean? That's the only way they can think.
It'd be an absolute tease. Look, I like the team we've named in terms of physically and who they are. That's fine, but I think we're mentally cooked. I think our team has been mentally fatigued for a while. I know it doesn't seem like much. Everyone says they're paid professionals, but that Titans game that we won at Leichhardt, they used reserves, to win that game. And you just can't keep lifting week after week. If you can't get up, like we had that game won against Newcastle, with 20 minutes to go. We were leading St George with 12 minutes to go last week. You can't throw away games like that and expect to win at Campbelltown. I'm not saying they can't, but sadly I've lost faith in 2026 now, so I'm not tipping us to win this week.
I think the sadness there, Rob, is they're the same. The playing group feel the same. I think I mentioned this on Sunday night. Like Sean Milcamp mentioned, the big thing for Benji through the week was belief. Believe in yourselves. You're first grade footballers. You're a good football team. You can match it with the best. You've shown it. And then nothing happened, right? Nothing happened after that. So I think belief is a problem. So if there's any chance at all, we have to start so strong.
Can you coach belief, though, or is that something that's got to be internal?
He's got to say that, whether it just has to be done. But we lost to a team that are, coming last, that have won one game all year, that are shipping 3 players off to the Super League.
I think more than 3.
Well, there's definitely, Cook, Sloan and Feeney at a minimum. Did Sewer go somewhere? I don't know where he's gone, but Leilua's off to England. There you go there, so you are right. There's a 4th one. But, they had Cook out in the centres, and we just showed no gumption to attack that weakness.
To me, I put that on players, though, because you've seen, like, the best of all time, the Thurstons or something. If they ever see someone injured in the line, they're just going at him. Like, that's got to be on Adam Dewey or Jock Madden last week.
No, I'm going to throw it totally on the coaches, Eddie, and I'll tell you why. Because this didn't happen in the second half at some stage or whatever, and you just didn't notice it. He was there in the first half. They get together at half time and they can just say, hey, mate, this guy's out in the left centres and he's a hooker. And mind you, he started the game at hooker, so he was going to be playing for 80 minutes. Come on, mate. We didn't identify.
He's an origin centre, though, Damien Cook. Let's not forget that. Under Brad Fittler.
Very good.
The thing with Benji, right? Benji doesn't just have to do it at half time. Benji makes it. He's doing it all the time. He's on the sideline. He's yelling instructions to them all game. Right? So he's involved in shaping and changing the game plan in real time, which a lot of coaches don't. And
I wouldn't have even just sat there, like stop there. Like Taruva might not have been the guy to actually run over him or cause him a trouble, but just swap him with Skelton or bring Toa over to right centre and swap it around. We saw what Newcastle did to us the week before, swapping Dom Young, putting him basically in the centre position in attack and running at Macassini and giving him a bath every time he ran at him. Like, we just don't seem to adapt to circumstances that suit us. Like, what would St George have done to us if we had to play Appy at left centre for 50 minutes? Like, we are just not a very smart football team, Eddie, and that's why, regardless of what happens Friday night, I've just lost faith in the season.
We've spoken enough about their strengths. They're a strong side across the board, but are there any weaknesses there? I mean, the spine on paper are the backup halves, and even the fullback Tuapiki is a young player. Yeah,
Timmy Martin can be put under pressure. I think at halfback, if you get up on him, I think their real weakness, like if you want to isolate one person in particular, it's their centre Latua. He gets out of defensive shape pretty easily. He'll come up faster, or he'll be too wide and he'll leave an inside gap. So I think I'll talk about this a bit later when we do that matchup, but I think we can expose him on our left. He's there, right? Apart from that, they are strong across the park.
Speak about the dreaded game plan, Rob. What would be we spoke at length last week about a conservative game plan and maybe playing not to lose and playing sort of set for set. Is that got to be thrown out the window or adjusted at least this week?
Well, did we do that in New Zealand when we played them earlier in the year? I thought we played pretty expansive. We scored a try from our own half to the young winger Tavana.
But we were pretty full strength back then, you know.
No, we weren't. We lost Luai. We'd lost Luai the week before.
I
think it was Jock Madden's first game. Jock Madden scored a long range try in the second half.
Luai was the only guy out that night.
Yeah, we actually only got a red zone try in the last couple of minutes off like a grubber kick off the foot or something. I think all our tries were long range that night. So we're not playing like that now. So I don't see where that attack's going to come from. I actually identified Adam Pompey as a defensive weakness. He's really good in attack and he can do a number on whoever plays right centre for us. But defensively, he's prone to a missed tackle. So I'd be going at their right, but I don't think Taruva, if he is moved to centres, is the guy to beat Adam Pompey.
You go back and watch that game against New Zealand. I went over there for the game, and they smashed us. Right, they bashed the hell out of us. The thing was, we were just resilient to it.
They were up 12-0.
We just took it, right, and we gave back as good as we got, and then we wore them down and got on top. That resilience is gone. So if they're gonna if they want to dig deep to find something, it's got to be that resilience.
Looking to transform your home without the stress. At Mirko Renovations, we don't just renovate, we bring your vision to life, whether it's a modern kitchen, a luxury bathroom, or a full home makeover. Our team delivers high-quality craftsmanship with attention to every detail, like myself, Steve. Mirko Renovations handles it all. What is your Mirko matchup of the week?
Oh, you've just thrown me with that. My matchup is our left side, our left edge against their right edge. I think that's where we've got an opportunity to beat them and get on top of them. Their right edge defence statistically is very poor. That's where they leak a lot of points. Again, as I said, I watched a couple of games today in prep, and it gets out of shape really quickly, really easily. It doesn't take a lot. Now, mind you, it was the Cowboys and the Dolphins who were throwing some pretty good shape down their left side. So we've got to be able to do that. But they can get disconnected out on that right side. And if you look at our left side, we've got Makasini, I'm hoping, in the centres. We're going to have Samuela there. We're going to have Luai back. So our left edge is starting to look strong again with some attacking prowess about it. So hopefully our left edge can get past their right edge, and that can help us out.
Looking forward to seeing Adam and Jerome, because it's been a sort of small sample size this year, and they're clearly our two best halves, but the combination probably hasn't quite gelled yet, or maybe hasn't had a time to develop.
It'll be interesting with Lanyon at hooker. Does he share that load in, like, because we saw Appy against Newcastle predominantly give the ball to Adam wherever he went, and Jerome was really a passenger and didn't get much of the ball or much ball to create or run or do anything that he wanted to. So I'd like to see a little bit more of an even distribution there. I also think one thing we can do, and we did it well against the Titans and we do it well against a number of teams, every time a team has a shorter fullback, we really use that bomb for Jerome Buller, okay, and contest that attacking bomb. So I do expect when we get around the quarter line, we'll be trying to isolate their fullback to a peaky with bombs, and hopefully Jerome can come down and catch them. And I'd actually want to see those bombs land. I don't want to swear tonight. I'm about to swear. I won't swear. I want to see those bombs land in the in goal, unlike some of the ones Jock Madden did. Those bombs land in the in goal. Jerome Buller catches it, he scores, he falls over. He doesn't have to catch it like he did the other week against the Dolphins, do a somersault and a 3.5 pike and get held up by 4 players over the line. Put that ball over the line, trust that he's going to catch it and fall over and score the try.
Has he been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks? Some of the people just clutching at straws in regards to Buller there?
No, I think they're clutching at straws. Like, he's playing behind a team that's been badly beaten and playing badly.
He's also banged up as well.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Dream Buller?
Yeah, I'm sure he's not 100%.
I didn't want to poke the bear again, but there's comments out there, Rob, on West Tigers forum and everywhere about Buller's not. He's on 900,000 and he's not playing like a. But
you're saying it like he's playing badly. He's playing great. I don't know if he actually dropped that bomb.
It's not my opinion.
I don't think he dropped that bomb. Whether he dropped it or someone batted it back for St George. But if you want to count that as an error, that's the only error he's had in a month. I think he's been fantastic, but you get a lot of professional whingers out there that say he's not doing it. Like, when he's playing bad, call it. But God, he's one of our best players every week.
I don't understand why people are so black and white in these situations, right? Like, it's like Buller's either red hot or he's absolutely terrible. Buller has not been at his best in the last couple of weeks, because the team have been absolutely horrendous. What fullback can be at their absolute attacking best when the whole 12 blokes in front of them are getting bashed up? Right? So it's nothing. None of this is black and white.
Wade Egan close to the line. He's just one of those scheming dummy halves. He'll be looking to put one of their big fellas over.
He's like Isaiah Katoa at hooker. He just
Very crafty.
draws right into that line at the last second, gives that ball away. He's got a beautiful torpedo pass. He's hurt us previously as well. Definitely a big threat. Our marker defence was absolutely woeful against St George. So we have to be on our toes and, make sure we win that tackle, because if you don't win that tackle and those big blokes get a roll on, and then Egan on the back of that with all those little halves and fullback coming into the line, we'll be in big trouble. So we've got to win the ruck.
I wonder if we'll go right again, Steve. I know Rob just talked about giving even share a ball to Jerome, but we carved him up on the right last time, and Adel said some of their defence, and I'm not sure if it's the same guys who were there, some of their defence was really average that night.
Yeah, well, they're going to have Pompey on the
left side.
On the left, so Latua on the right.
Yeah.
So that's us going. You
right.
just confused me. Us going right. Yeah. So look, I think we need to go left more.
Yep.
More
Our left.
Yeah,
our left, which is their right.
Left to their right. I think that's where they are weakest.
Correct.
And I think we've got our best attacking weapons there as well. But we do have Dewey on the right side, so we've got to feed him some ball because he can beat a man. What I want to see is what happens outside of Dewey. Dewey tends to die with the ball too often. Right now, that's Adam Dewey. You got to cop that, because half the time he'll make a break because he's done that. But, if we've got Toa out there, give him some room. He can beat a man if he plays centre.
Macassini, I know he's an 18-year-old kid, Rob, but I'm been surprised that every week Benji's sort of stuck with him. I know you could say there's no one there, but Junior Tupou's at the club now. Do you think Benji's going the right way about it?
I don't know if it's the right way about him. I've got to give him a little bit of, credit or leeway, but he's playing injured. Okay,
course, yeah.
He's copped a few concussions, so you can
question. My point.
You can question his development in regards to like someone that's had that many concussions playing as often as he is. He's missing some tackles. He's certainly trying hard. Like watching him against St George the other night, it was really weird. I find when he's getting the ball in attack, he looks really unconfident. Like he just doesn't look like he's got that belief that he's going to bust the line. But when I see him running out of our own end, like our yardage carries, he runs the ball bloody tough. And it's like two different personalities with how he's getting the ball. So I think he's just pushing through it. I think his confidence is down. It wouldn't help being concussed, in, out, wing, centre, whatever. But I don't know if that's the right development formula. We just have to trust that Benji's doing the right thing there. But my answer is I don't know, but I'm certainly concerned.
The forwards, Steve, what do you want to see from our forward pack this week? Because they took it to the Warriors early this year. Bunty's starting. I suppose he's been starting the last month or so, and Terrell.
Well, Rob's already said it really. Like I mentioned, our left edge being an attacking weapon, but we're not going to be any good out there if we don't win the ruck, we don't win the middle. We've just got to charge through that middle. We've got to be able to absorb a lot of aggression from the Warriors, because that's what they throw at you. But we've just got to have quick line speed, get up on them and match. And first contact has got to be brutal, and we've got to do that for 80 minutes. One other thing about the Warriors I was watching, when they're throwing that shape, they got these beautiful backline movements, but the runners that they have that come at absolutely straight, right, at 90 degrees to the pass, right? Their straight runners are just doing it perfectly, right? Like that whole idea of going across field but straight in the attack as you go across field, and we've got to be ready for that, because we have not been ready for that. Like we just have been crabbing sideways, leaving gaps in our defensive line. They will have a runner coming back on the inside, and they'll go straight through us if we don't hang tight together.
Can this game be closer than people think, or we need them to be off their game?
It can be, simply because New Zealand are the sort of team that don't often put you away, in the sense of, like, if they're 10 ahead and there's 15 to go, they're just happy to play conservative and let you make mistakes and grind out a win. They're not the sort of team generally to run away with a big win. What happens this week, I don't know. Like, obviously, like, I'm buoyed by Luai being back in the team, and if Samuela does play, that'd be great. But what concerns me is, firstly, the team's lacking confidence, and then what does it do to your confidence when, other than the red zone attack, I thought we played our asses off in Newcastle and we lost that game. And we were playing poorly against the worst team in the comp the other day and still had a lead with under 15 minutes to go, and we lost that. So I just wonder, can Benji really reinstall that self-belief that you've been talking about earlier? Like, how do you believe when you've just blown 4 points? You've totally blown 4 competition points, and you know now realistically you're on the cusp. You're one loss away from not, getting further. And I will say one thing about the West Tigers, and this is one chance to get another hoodoo off our back, because we've always talked about we couldn't win 3 games in a row, etc. We haven't beaten the same team in a season since 2021, where we beat the Newcastle Knights twice. Now, this year, we get 4 shots at it. We get New Zealand, we get Canterbury, we get Parramatta, and we get North Queensland. So, there is, I know, they're probably games we might lose, but surely we get that little hoodoo off our back as well, and it'd be nice if it started Friday night.
The Ivan Cleary year when we beat Melbourne twice in the first 5 weeks. That was remarkable.
That was remarkable. Yeah, that was actually, 2 or 3 years late? 18, yeah.
All right, well, it's time to pack into some of the comments from Sunday night, because we've got some interesting takes here, some of the guys, and I don't know what it is with these YouTube names, Steve, and I'm probably the wrong person. You're the wrong person to ask, but why do they all include letters and different sort of capitals and stuff like that? They're all crazy names, so if I get them wrong, I don't apologise. MNR8. OR. Maybe that's M Raider or something. I'm appalled by the pylon in the video towards Benji. Things started going south, and the same people that overhyped the team earlier in the year and their ability are now kicking Benji and the team in the guts, Rob.
Yeah, well, that's obviously definitely a reference to me. Well, that person can get stuff.
And Steve and Gary.
Number one, I'm not going to apologise for having an opinion, and forgive me for celebrating 5 wins when we had 8 wins in about 2 years. Okay, so heaven forbid that I should be excited about a team travelling well that should have won its first 7 games, not just be 5-2. And even in those early stages, the South game, the Brisbane game, we still identified the red zone attack was poor. Even the New Zealand game, that was one of our best victories of the year, we weren't scoring tries from the red zone. So I haven't been a hypocrite there, but at the end of the day, we don't know how to run shape. The players aren't in the right positions to run shape. There's clearly no repeat work on it, or if we've started doing work on it, it's only been in the last 5 minutes. We're hopeless at it. We couldn't do it against St George the other night. I don't apologise for that. But if that's his opinion, he can have his opinion. But we're here to talk. Like our number one sort of thing as supporters is we're fans of the team, or we want to be fans. But if you honestly want us to come on the show and glaze every week when we're going well, and pour shit on everyone when we're going poorly, we don't do that, but you've got to call things out as you see them. If someone's had a poor game or made a mistake, or you think someone could have done something better, I'm going to call it out. And I don't think Benji, in terms of X's and O's, has ever been a good coach. And what I mean by that, his philosophy is based on defence. I think he sees a lack of importance in all the attack stuff. He thinks that if your defence is right, the attack will flow off it. And that's his style. But I think the game has passed that.
He never believed that as a player.
Well, he probably
ironic.
He probably didn't believe it as a player, but as a club, we've been a club that's been used to getting flogged, Steve. We got flogged for years and years. So I get that his first point of call was to change the defence and the culture and make us tougher and work harder and all that. But we do all that hard work now, and we get to the red zone, and we're legless, mate. We're absolutely legless.
Just on Benji, I actually reckon he did play the way he coaches. Everything with Benji was his ability to skip onto the outside of a bloke and throw a deadly pass across a couple of blokes. That was Benji's go-to, right? And he was brilliant at it. And of course, his step, right? He'd skip the out and step the inside. But that wasn't something that they would have practiced 50 times, drilled into them at training.
Unstructured.
It's totally unstructured. And when we were playing well this season, we were playing quite unstructured. We had a very structured plan in running off Appy to get forward, and then there was a lot of second phase play off the back of offloads, and that's how we were getting downfield, and that's how we were scoring points, not through planned moves and sweeping plays. So he actually is, I reckon, still pretty close to the way he played. It's how he coaches, and just on that point, I'll go back to it again. Right, it's not just because you say point A doesn't mean you don't believe point B and point C. We might highlight on the pod sometimes Benji's coaching, or we might sometimes highlight a player's weakness or errors, which we've done. It doesn't mean that happens in isolation. We're not playing well at the moment because the coaching group aren't coaching as well as we want them to, and the players aren't playing as well as we want them to. It's not just one thing.
Well,
it's everything.
I'll back that point up further. I would say in terms of man management, what I mean by that is getting his players to play for him. I think Benji's in the top 3. So if I'm going to be critical of some aspects of his coaching, that's my opinion. I'm allowed. I watch it every week. I judge him on what I see our team do in 80 minutes on the field. But you can see they give their all. Even last week, they gave their all. They're just not a good team. Like, we did try and run some block shapes and, there were some grass-cutting tackles that stopped it. But prior to last week, it's literally give Adam the ball and give Jareem the ball and go do your own thing, like try and run and go through a hole. It's under 7 stuff. Like, you watch Adam when he plays. Adam's playing lights out. But what does Adam do? Does anyone set Adam up? No. Adam's got to get the ball and be Superman and run through 3 players. And that's what they expect of Buller. Buller gets the ball and it's like, go do your thing. And it dead set reminds me of under 7s, under 8 stuff. And then people want to go criticise Jareem Buller, which absolutely gives me the shits.
Just last one on this post, and I'm going to try and interpret it, and I'll probably get in trouble because I might try to interpret things on Sunday night. I got in a boatload of trouble. But I think he's talking about he was surprised the way a couple of you guys and Gary went at our assistant coaches. And I mean, I don't want to pinpoint words because we can all get words mixed up, but Gary said not qualified assistant coaches. Yeah. And I think that's where he's talking about the pylon. I don't think he's necessarily talking about Benji, but we were saying let's throw out the assistant coaches.
Yeah, well, that was a topical. That was just a topical thing for that night, wasn't it? Really, I don't think anyone said. Like, I know Gary said that point. I think my point about the assistant coaches. What was my point about?
It might have been you actually pushing back at Gary, because I think Gary was saying something about Hodcho being an assistant coach elsewhere, and then you said, but no success, or one of you said,
no, Gary said
had no success.
No success. I said Gary said experience.
No. Well, he's right. He has had no success.
And I was talking about identity, saying they got those blokes in.
Yep.
But, maybe they do need to think about, look, and if the club aren't thinking through stuff like that, if Shaw Millcamp and the West Tigers board aren't thinking about how can we improve every aspect of our organisation, they're not doing their jobs. And the coaches should be under the hammer, or under the microscope, just like every player is, just like everyone in that organisation is.
Sean knows we've got a big job and we've got a lot to do to turn things around. I don't think he's fooled by that.
Okay, I'll just read a couple of comments here because we don't have time to go through them all. But Mark Music Novelty Band, he's one of our big supporters out there, so big hello to Mark. He said Benji should step in more attack-wise, train the attack more. Doesn't matter if egos are bruised. And Glenn, he said, you guys do backflips left, right and centre. We had X's and O's earlier in the season. It's not the coach, it's more on the players. Reese Williams, 6697, Rob, he said, what is going on with the last tackle options? Have they lost confidence or are they scared to try something? What do you reckon?
Oh, you are. Look, I pointed him out the other night. It was a sin bin from Gutherson, and that first set, Suka gets the ball from Jareem, mind you, so I should say that was Jareem's fault. Jareem gives him the ball and he gets tackled on the last tackle. We mentioned the one where Lanyon tried to put Terrell May under the post. Last tackle again, like, is it his call to do that? There was one with Madden. They're awful. That's where it comes back to, do we have 2 number 6s in our team? Like when you got Adam and Jerome Luai, do we need a proper number 7, an actual general? Because that's not on. We can't be doing that.
Steve, Wayne1269 says Benji needs to put specialist players in their relative positions, whether they're cup players or not. Madden has to go back to reserve grade to get confidence back. It's been a talking point, I think, the last month is the constant shuffling of players. Do you think it's sort of square pegs, square holes?
No, I think you've got to be a little bit more loose than that. I don't think you can just say that player's just going to play halfback. I'm a firm believer in that philosophy of, you got to really get your best 17 players in and around that team, especially when injuries start to come and you're not at full strength. When you're at full strength, you can probably afford to be more specific like that. But like Latu Faino, I think, is a classic example. And Gary doesn't agree with me on this one, but I think Ladu has to be in our 17 at the moment because he's one of our best 17 players, and we're so short of first-grade quality players at the moment. So I think it's horses for courses, but as you get more injuries, you got to put them where you can.
All right, Rob. Lynn Davis 6159 says, in relation to Jerome's Instagram post, which we discussed on Sunday night, maybe Jerome was saying most players just sit back and have a smoke and don't care enough. I like that take, Lynn. If I was Jerome, I would be so frustrated with the level of player we bring in when we have a few replacements. Going back to that post, because we got into it on Sunday night, I was reading like some of the comments on YouTube and the forums, and everyone's having their sort of take on it. I would say I was probably in the majority in terms of the fans, what they thought. I'm not saying I'm right. But the thing that, like, I don't want to say it offended me because it didn't offend me, but the thing I didn't like about it was sort of just putting my coach's hat on. I know it's a different sport, but I looked at that post and I thought, that's not just directed at fans. And I was happy when he said F you to the fans at Leichhardt Oval because he played the game and they're there and whatnot. But posting 10 minutes after full time, I thought that post implied that, you know, I told him that I'm the number one half and Jock Madden and Adam Dewey. You saw how they went out there. And to me, that post brings in some of your teammates. And some of your teammates see that. And for me as a captain, that's poor.
Yeah, and you're probably right. But when you asked me at the time on Sunday night, I don't have Instagram, number one. I didn't know that there was audio attached to that, to those pictures as well. And I think you said the name of the song was I Told Them. Okay, so your reference obviously was clearly right. And then I've since read comments on social media about it as well. And the majority seem to be with you. And perhaps, you know, this perhaps leads to Jerome not being at the club next year. Who knows?
Really?
Well, it could be a possibility. I mean, if he's doing things like that, that seems like something might be fractured. I want him to be there. I believe in Jerome Luai. But if he's carrying on like this, I mean, it's like you said, even if he's right to do it, the timing of it is really poor. But my beef at the time on Sunday night, and why I was a little bit politely agitated with you, is we just lost to the worst freaking team in the comp, and everyone wanted to point their finger at Jerome Luai's Instagram
50 minutes. We went through the game.
But the point is, he wasn't out on the field. Like, I get, like, we're literally clutching at anything Jerome does. And that was my beef at the time, not having understood what that Instagram post means. Now I'm being told what it actually means by more than one or two people. And I'm starting to think, well, you know what? He probably should have been better there. But Jerome Luai beats to his own drum, and he always has. But as a captain, he probably has a bigger responsibility, and it's just not a good look on everyone. And it'll be interesting to see if the media question Benji or Jerome or anyone in the near future.
They're
perhaps
not doing
after
their
the
jobs
game.
if they don't. That's, you know, like Steve.
Well, shouldn't we be doing it internally?
If I was Benji, I wouldn't like that post.
If I was in Sean Milcamp's position, I would definitely be having a word to Jerome Luai. He's the captain of the team, if not the captain of the club. I don't know if they have a distinction there, but he's definitely a senior leader in the club. He's got to be setting the example. We've got a young squad. We've got a young squad that are learning what it's like to play first grade football and the resilience you need. And to me, his response to fans, I've said it before, it's immature, right? It is an immature response. He needs to be better than that, right? He has put himself in a situation where if you agitate fans, some fans are going to have a crack at you. They're going to do it through anger. They're going to do it through frustration. They're going to do it through sheer stupidity. But it's going to happen, right? There are a whole range of people out there on social media, from the most intelligent to the greatest idiot, right? They're all out there. If you agitate, you're going to cop it. He's got to be better than that. He's got to start. And I've said this before: score the try, high five, back to halfway.
I don't agree
do
with
it
that,
again.
but I mean, you have been consistent in your view there.
What if he's going at the club? What if that's not just at the fans? What if it's a message of the club? What if he's being shopped around, and he knows he's being shopped around for a stopgap year somewhere?
Well, sometimes if players, I know it doesn't happen so much in rugby league, but overseas, if players want to get out, they start training poorly or little things like that,
or they put stuff on Instagram,
cryptic messages.
Rob, that's now on Sean. If something like that is happening, right? If the club are making moves, right, then it's up. That's out of Benji's realm. That's out of the football department's realm in a lot of ways. That's management, right? They've got to get Jerome in a room with his management, and they've got to sort through it, right? They've got to come to a conclusion or come to finality about it so that they can finish this season and do whatever they need to do.
But whether it's club or fans, I think Sean should be addressing it regardless if that's what it meant.
100%.
Rob, I didn't like the post, but I think we'd be absolute. It would be lunacy to get rid of Jerome for next year or shop him around, because he's one of our best players, and I think what he's brought to the club has been excellent. And I know the results are middling results, but that cultural turnaround and stuff like that, surely we can't just throw another year out next year and go, okay, let's get more money in the cap.
I think the lunacy behind it is with Jerome Luai in that team in 2027.
Top 8 side.
Well, if we're healthy, yeah. If we're healthy, it's easily a top 8 side. But the counter argument will be he goes somewhere else, we pay some of his freight. With what we save on that freight, as terrible as that sounds, because he's on massive wicket, with whatever we save on that freight, we get another player, number one, a quality player, or put that towards our cap to other players. And further to that, you start now with Latu Fainu at 7 and you move Adam to 6. So that'll be the counter argument. Me, I'm in the all in for next year.
Agree.
And I am going to swear, fuck 2028, fuck 2029.
Totally agree.
I'm sick of every year going to shit. And if this guy's got that attitude where he is prepared to tell not only the club, the fans, anyone off, that's what I want out on the field. I want a killer out on the field. And that guy is a killer. And I know he's been part of a great team, but he's won 4 premierships with another club. Oh, is it 5? I don't even remember. 4, sorry. Yeah, he wasn't there a couple of years ago. But, yeah, I believe in the guy. But, again, I'm starting to think he might not even be there next year.
I said it a couple of weeks ago. I said I'm starting to get worried about Latu Fainu, just the way we're mucking him around. Now, apparently Latu Fainu absolutely idolises Benji, and so he may be very happy with doing whatever Benji wants him to do. But I think his development is starting to be compromised by the way we're playing him, bit here, bit there, sitting on the bench, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Whether that means he goes back to reserve grade next year, knowing from Benji that he's the starting half the year later, or if there's injury, or whether that means we do clear the decks a little bit and he becomes the starting half. If that happened and it was Jerome that moved on, I wouldn't be 100% against it. I'm with you. I agree with you that we are a better team with Jerome Luai playing well and committed. We're a much better side. But if the club decided to go that way, and we're just guessing, right? We're just guessing.
100%.
But if that's what they did, I could understand it, and it would be good. The positive would be Latu's development.
I couldn't support it at all, because my thing is, why can't Latu, and he should have been at times, why can't he be Jock Madden next year? Because Adam's going to miss some games next year. Jerome's not going to play every game. He should be our next half. And if we're going to get rid of Jerome just for Latu's development, we're a much weaker side next year.
I agree with you, and I rate Latu. I think the world of Latu, but at this stage right now, Latu doesn't have a voice. He's not a general. He doesn't demand things from his players. He will learn that over time, and I believe he will. But what's wrong with Latu Fainu being our starting halfback in 2028? Like, I mean, why can't it just wait another year? Yeah, like what crazy good player are we going to say we save $500,000 on Jerome Luai, feeding him somewhere else?
They're not going to give us Isaiah Yeo or something, are they?
I don't know. But I'm just saying that would be the argument, and people will say, well, tick, you've got a guy that we can actually finally put at halfback. Tick, you get Adam Dewey back in his rightful position of number 6. Tick, we get another player. But again, for all those ticks, give me Jerome Luai 7 days a week.
Agree. Steve, I think that'll do for the preview today. Rob, you've got West Tigers Life, not tonight, not tomorrow, because it's an Origin decider. First off, tell me what's going to happen in that Origin decider, and then tell me about West Tigers Life Thursday.
If you asked me after game 2, I would have said Queensland by 1 million.
You haven't changed your mind, have you?
I haven't changed my mind. I just think New South Wales have picked a really negative sort of defensive team, like to plug holes. Like Stephen Crichton is a massive addition. Katoni Staggs had one of the worst Origin performances I've ever seen. So he's going to shore up that right edge, given Bradman Best is on the left. Bradman Best has got a great record in Origin, guys, but I haven't seen the great form that everyone's talking about the last few weeks. I know he might lift and do a job, but defensively, Taruva nearly got around him a couple of weeks ago, and he's not even a centre. So I think Queensland win, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. But I would have to say Queensland.
Tip?
Oh, in the Fair Income Stakes, Queensland are up 2-0, really.
Yes.
So I can't see New South Wales beating them. Not up there.
And the worst part is, on paper, like I hear everyone saying on paper Queensland are better.
Not really.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
On paper, New South Wales are better. It's just Queensland play like a team, and we don't.
Coach well.
We don't have enough props. We don't have enough go forward. Like we don't have middles, and when we put a middle on like Fanua Blake, he gets 5 minutes, and then guys like Brian Toto, and I don't mind Bostock in terms of his height being there, but you're going to lose 170 metres of Brian Toto's yardage. That's more hard work for your forwards that we don't get. Like he takes that load off them. I know it's going to be an interesting game. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want Daly to be coach next year. So
Jeez,
he won't be coach. Win or lose, he won't be coach next year.
Well,
for a bloke that doesn't know a lot about it, you certainly know a lot about it.
Oh no, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. But
Everyone will watch it.
Thanks, mate.
West Tigers Life Thursday night.
Yeah, so Thursday night, a call-in show. Josh and Shane will be hosting. You've got to contact podcast at Westpod, I think it is, Westlife Pod. Yeah, so westlifepod.com. I don't even know. Look it up, guys. Anyway, it's on there. It's on all our socials. Yeah, have your say, and you won't get like a 2-minute say. You'll get about a 5 or 10 minute vent, what you think's right, what you think's wrong. You can even have a vent about Eddie or me or Steve, what we do wrong, what we say wrong, what we do to upset you. So no show tonight, no show tomorrow night due to Origin. The girls will be
fired up after that win on the weekend.
Girls will be on Thursday, and West Tigers faithful back on Friday, and hopefully we'll be here Sunday talking about a Tigers victory.
All right, that's clause out for tonight. Go to West Tigers on Friday.